Hi, welcome back to Waiting in Laodicea. I'm your host, A.T. Martinez. Today's topic is the topic of tithing. What is a tithe? What does it mean to tithe? And is there a difference between tithing and an offering or a gift? The answer to the last question is yes, there is. So let's get right down to it. A tithe. We owe, as Christians and as humans, a tenth. That's all God has ever asked for, is 1/10. A tenth of what? A tenth of everything. Now let me explain this. In the old days, farmers would go out and they'd grow their crops. And whenever they harvested all their crops up, 1/10 of what they gathered, 1/10 of the best of what they gathered. They didn't give God the garbage, the stuff that was barely edible. They gave 1/10 of the best. Or when they picked the 10th, they made sure they picked the 10th the best. So if you were a rancher and you grew and you raised cattle, you gave the best cow that you were going to harvest that year. You took this proceeds in your life, this 10th, and you gave it to the temple. But we don't we don't operate like that anymore. We operate with money. So you take a 10th of your money and you give it to the Lord. You give it to the church. But it's not just your money, it's your time, it's your talent, it's your effort. 1/10 of everything that you are, minimum, needs to be given to God. This means if you have a talent for singing, 1/10 of the time you sing, you should be singing for God. Now you can sing more than that. You could join a Christian group and sing all the time for God. And if God provides you this as a way for you to make a living, you still got to give Him His 10th. Do 1/10 of your shows purely for God, meaning that you don't charge for them. If you draw, you paint, or you have any particular talent, 1/10 of it belongs to God. If you do not give God His 10th, you're stealing. Okay, let's look at this a little bit closer. Each of us have talents and gifts. Where did they come from? They came from God. God gave you a talent to speak. Okay? Public speaking is your talent. You are not like most people who the idea of standing in front of a crowd scares the living daylights out of you. You are comfortable talking to a crowd. Then you need to take this talent and use it for God. You need to at least use your talent in God's benefit 1/10 of the time. So, you go to work, you make money. 1/10 of that is God's. You have talents. 1/10 of those are given to God. You you use them to further God's will at the church or somehow. Sometimes it's a little difficult to figure out how to give 1/10 of your talent. Maybe your talent is crochet. Well, the answer to that is you can make a blanket. Make something and give that to somebody in need. Give. Then you are using your talent for God. You've got to give God 1/10. So if you're giving God 1/10 of all of what you are, that includes your time, which means out of every 24-hour period, you're going to give God 2.4 hours. Out of every week, out of every 10 days, 1 full day is His. Spread that out amongst the 7, so that because we don't have a 10-day work week. And this is meeting your responsibilities. you've made your tenth. You've made your tithe. Anything else that is done is yours. Does this mean that, okay, I made $100 this week, so I gave God 10, the rest of it's mine? Yes. You don't owe God anything else. Correct. Not out of your money. But then you have gifts or offerings. In a lot of churches, you'll notice that they gather their offering, and this is for your tithe. Once the offering is gathered, maybe later on in that program, they're going to talk about missionaries, and they're going to ask for another offering. If the plate comes around and you give extra, that's an offering. That's a gift. So the difference between the two right away is one of them is God's, period. You owe him that tenth. If you give more than that tenth because God laid it on your heart to help a different cause, that is an offering. It's not to be counted as part of your tithe. It's extra, and you should use it as extra. So instead of 1 week, instead of giving God just tenth of something, you give him 20%. 20% is being used for his will. This is good. It's not something to brag about. It's something that you do because God laid it on your heart to do so. And this goes to your time also. At least 10% is his. If you give more, that's even better, because God laid it on your heart to do something. For example, say your church needs a new roof. You and several of the other people have decided to give your time to rebuild the roof. This is not your tithe. This is an offering. It's a sign of love. It's your giving God your time to rebuild the roof. Should you count that as your tithe? No. Because that was given beyond. And you want to go beyond. So go beyond. Then you have people like me. Okay? I have a ministry. This is part of my ministry. This is the main part of my ministry because I'm trying to talk to each and every one of you out there. How much of this is offering and how much of this is tithe? Well, bottom line, I don't look at what I do in that area as either one. This is my job. This is what God wants me to do. I give to him. All of this is to him. Sometimes it's hard to keep that in mind because I sit back and I look at the number of subscribers and the very few people that watch these shows, and I'm wondering, am I doing any good? And that's not my place. I don't have to answer that question. God answers that question. God tells me keep doing this. I know that I need to give more and more of these episodes. I need to come up with more things. Why? Because the church is still lukewarm. The end of times is still coming. The trials and tribulations that we're going to face in our life are going to keep growing. More and more trials are coming towards us, and it is my job to try to help you prepare for them. Do I give God my tithe? Yes, I do. I still tithe. I don't break down what extra is offering. This is my existence. Now, most of you are not in the same category. You have a job, you go to work, you come home. You go to work 5 days a week. Go to church Sunday. I encourage you to go to church more than just Sunday. Some churches have Sunday morning, some churches have both Sunday morning and Sunday evening. Some churches have Wednesday nights. If your church doesn't have all three of these, make it. Do you have to go to the preacher, twist his arm, pull it behind his back, and say, you will open up on Sunday night? Nope. What you do is you get together with some of the other members of the church, and you meet on Sunday nights. You meet on Wednesdays. I've always liked the idea of a Saturday morning prayer breakfast. Whether that's a men's group or the whole church, whoever, you get together, you have breakfast together, you pray, a little light message. It's fantastic. It helps remind you that God should be part of your life from breakfast, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. By doing this, you're filling your life with Christ. You're dedicating more than just a tenth of your time to God. Until you've covered that 10% time frame, though, this is what you owe Him. Get past that 10%, get into the area of gift, and you will be amazed how much better your life will be. How much happier your life will be. Now, again, keep in mind, like with prayer, this is not something you're supposed to be doing for the public to see. It's for you and God. If you are doing something, you're either doing it for public appreciation or God's appreciation. You don't get both. Well, no, I take that back. You may get both. But if you're doing it for God and other people praise you for it, you ignore the praise, and you tell them, hey, don't look at me. It's not for me. It's for God. If you sit back and they praise you for it, you go, oh, thank you. I try my best, and you basically try to take the praise, then you've taken your thanks. And God isn't going to thank you anymore. You did it for them, not for Him. Do it for Him. I mentioned earlier, if you crochet, make something. Make a blanket. Take it to the church. Have the church give it to somebody in need. Or if the church needs money, have them raffle it off. But make it as a condition of giving it to them. They don't say where it came from. You don't need the praise. If you're doing it for others to praise you, again, you're not going to get God's praise. So do it for them. Tell them no. I don't need no credit. Just raffle this off. Use the money towards God's will. When you're helping people, if you do something so that you're not doing it for their thanks, but rather just to help, you don't want no credit, don't want no thanks here, it's yours, not an issue. That's what you're going to get the greatest reward. Because afterwards you're going to feel so good, and God is going to bless you so much because you went beyond. Going beyond. To most of us, we work at jobs where if you go too far beyond, your fellow workers get mad at you because you're showing them up. This is an area where you're not going to get your fellow workers mad at you. Go beyond. Do everything, excuse me, to the best of your ability. And when you're giving to God, go beyond. Go beyond that tithe. Now, I know some of you may be sitting back going, oh, he's bringing up tithe. You know, every time the church brings up tithe, it's because they need money. He must need money. Of course I do. This ministry could use more money. There are lots of bills that we have to pay. But I'm not asking you for your money there. I'm telling you, you owe God 1/10. I'm not saying that tithe comes to me. Nope. Take your 10th, give it to your church. That's your tithe. That tithe should go to your church. That 10% should go to your church. If you don't have a church, that should be going to get you being, you do a small church. A small church is a house church. It's a group of you that meet together and worship the Lord. Use that tithe if you're in a house church and there's no bills, then use that tithe to support feeding the poor. Am I saying, so what I'm saying is I'm not asking for your tithe. If God's put it on your heart to give me your tithe, that's between you and God. What I am asking for is your offerings and the gifts. If God lays it on your heart to support this ministry, we will gladly use your money. More importantly, we'll use your time if you wanted to volunteer that. Whatever you choose to give, we will find a way to use. So I'm not making the budget this month, so I need to go after the people and try to stoke up that guilt trip. Nope. Give to your church. They need the money. I'm not saying we don't. I'm saying they are the ones that's the temple, like I was describing. You took it to the temple, gave it to the priests. It was their job to then distribute that as God directed. It's your church's job to distribute your tithe as God directed. To help pay food for the poor, clothing for the poor, help the elderly, those that are in need. That is what your tithe is for. Is it for a missionary? Maybe. How you spend your money is between you and God. This is not my request for you to give me your money. I do my request for you to give me your money at the end of every episode. But I also give you other ways to support. Why? Because I'm looking to get your offering, not your tithe. Now, I know this has not been a very popular topic with people because people generally have you just want my money. Nope, don't want just your money, want your time. God wants all of it. He wants your time, your energy, your love, your commitment, your talents, all of who you are. Remember, when Christ was asked what the greatest commandment was, he said, love your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Give him all. He wants parts of all of you. We're not just out for your money. Now, this ministry, nope, give your tithe where it's needed. Give your tithe where God says to send it. Whether that is to a church, to an organization that feeds the poor, wherever God directs you to send your tithe, give your tithe. I will say that if you're not giving money to your church, you're basically trying to tie God's hand. And if you're not tithing, you're stealing. It's not your money. There are penalties for not paying tithe. Number one, the Bible says that if you don't pay your tithe and you finally realize that you messed up, you can pay back your tithe by giving 15% until you've paid off your debt, because it is a debt. You owe it. It's not your money. You're stealing if you keep it. Okay, I know that's been probably not your favorite topic. A lot of people have problems with it. They feel guilty because Let's face it, sometimes tithe seems to be a lot of money. Giving God 2.5 hours out of your day every day seems to be a lot of time. Giving God 1/10 of everything, that sounds like a lot. But you got to remember, it's only 1/10. 1/10, meaning that 90% is still yours. That's not greed. You're the one being greedy because you're looking at the 10th and going, well, I'd rather keep that. It's not always easy to do it, but you owe it. It's God's. Give it to Him. Now, this has been Waiting in Laodicea, as we've talked today about tithe. Sorry about that, folks. Some people like to show off. I am A.T. Martinez. I've been your host. Hope that you've enjoyed today's topic. If you haven't enjoyed it, I hope you at least learned something from it. Hope it makes you think. Either way, hit that like button. Hit the share button. Get it out there. Get your friends to come in. Watch the show. Like the show. Get everybody you know to subscribe. That is the easiest way you can help support us. Yes, I'm asking for something there. I'm asking for a little bit of your time, a couple clicks. The minimum I ask for is for you to do that. And for you to share it. Tell others about this channel. Give me the opportunity to help them also. If you wish to do more, you can donate through this platform, or you can go to the website, www.waitinginlaodicea.weebly.com, and there are other methods that you can donate to this ministry. If you'd like to donate a little bit of your talents and your time, send me an email, tell me what you can do, talk to us. I'll be glad to help you use a little of your time. Once again, this is A.T. Martinez wishing you all a wonderful week, and may God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.